Welcome to episode 1. I'm your host, Jakey, Wakey, author, musical artist. Let's talk about limiting beliefs, but I'm going to go into this even more than I went into it in the book. I'm going to talk about this as something a little, maybe woo's not the word, just more here. Look, at the very basic level, limiting beliefs are just thoughts that you keep thinking. But I believe there's something more going on here that I don't really talk about. But keep watching and I'll expose limiting beliefs for the watch time. They're thoughts that you keep thinking, but they're more than that. They're patterns of behavior, patterns of mood. I think that's where we get lost. It's not just thoughts. It's the whole vibe. It's the whole vibe. I didn't get into this in the previous episode, but like the bed rot thing, like if you can't get out of bed, maybe you're depressed and you don't know it. You know what I mean? Let's just put it this way. When you're depressed, you don't know you're depressed. Like when you're depressed, you don't think I'm depressed. You just can't do stuff. You feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It's not a thing like I'm depressed. I have depression. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to throw anyone's diagnosis under the bus, but yeah, you just feel like you can't do anything. You just feel like everything is against you. It's one of those things where either you're getting better or you're getting worse. And so if you're getting worse, do you want to take this moment to decide to do something better, to get better? Or do you want to come up with more excuses and just get worse? So it's on you. It's not on me. I can't help you. You have to help yourself, but this might be an opportunity for you to help yourself. So let's just make it simple, right? A lot of the limiting beliefs are the thoughts. I'm not talented enough. I'm too old. I don't have time. I can't speak. I can't talk. I'm afraid of posting. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to stand out. Those kinds of things. It is the hardest. Like the putting out content. Like if you're new to posting, like one, if you post, but it's just your meals, are you at the gym? That's one thing. But if you post and you have your own ideas or original thoughts and you are not used to presenting on camera, it's incredibly nerve-wracking. It's one of those things where you just have to keep doing it. There's no way around it. Those thoughts are going to keep happening in your head until you do it a few times. You do it a few times and then you go back and you watch those posts that you posted and you're like, oh yeah, I posted some stuff. And you know, they may be like really terrible posts, but if they're terrible, they won't go very far in the algorithm. So that's the advantage of having a bunch of terrible posts is that you just keep getting better. You keep iterating. This is not a post about social media. This is just a way that I think that you can help get over some of your limiting beliefs. I talked about self-talk a bit in the book about like how you can reframe your thoughts. In the book is, I don't like going to work because Brad treats me like a pile of whatever. And you can change that. You can change it to, I don't like going to work because Brad always has something up his whatever. Or it's, I like going to work, but Brad has something up his butt. Or I like going to work. I hope Brad's in a better mood today. Like you can tweak it however you want for yourself and it will not feel right. Like I'm not one of those affirmation people because it will not feel right, but you can catch yourself and you can think about what it is that you want it to be like. And then it will shift your entire mood. And this is what I was getting at before is it's like this mood, this vibe, these patterns, and these patterns walk in with you. And so if you walk in with the better mood, the better state, then there's a good chance that Brad will treat you better. And so I guess that's what I'm getting at. You have to shift everything, not just one thing. You basically have to become a different version of yourself. Also, I wanted to add, is self-talk true? Are the things that I say to myself that are negative, are they true? And it doesn't even matter. Like this is where affirmations do kind of work. If you can believe them, like if you can just be completely delusional about them. There's two different types of delusional. Like there's delusional where you really believe it and there's delusional where you don't really believe it. And if you're delusional and you don't really believe it, then that kind of shows up a little bit. And sometimes that's where I'm at and that shows up in my content and it's really depressing and irritating. And sometimes I'm delusional and I believe it. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually putting out a bunch of good stuff. I'm really helping a lot of people and it just makes me feel better. So it's that kind of a thing. I'm really curious, like what's going on in your mind? Like what is the thing that's like keeping you stuck? Because if you've gotten over any of this, just let us know because you might help somebody. If you just put a comment in there about how some of the self-talk that you stopped doing and the new self-talk that you have, And so now we're going to go into self-awareness. And Gary Vee is famous for saying that self-awareness cannot be taught. And on the surface, this is true. But I think there are ways around this, and the way around it is a huge hack that I wrote about in the book, and I have other videos on you can check up here, but it's just recording yourself. If you record a video diary of yourself, like you don't have to even post this. It's fine if you do. I wouldn't recommend posting this if you're not used to making content, but like at the beginning, like if you start recording a video diary and then the next day you come back and you watch it back, like you'll sometimes be shocked that you even thought those things or said those things. And the next day you can respond to yourself in another video diary. So that's a pattern that I used to get unstuck, was like make this video diary in the morning and talk to myself about some of the things that I'm doing, some of the things I want to do, things going on in life, things that are occupying my mind. And then look at it the next day and you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked at what you said because you won't believe that was you or that you thought those things if they were like super negative. Or you'll think maybe I need to be a little more upbeat. You'll start to see things even physically. Maybe I need to stand up a little straighter. Like you'll start to see things that you can do to improve yourself. You can get in shape a little bit, do the MVE, do some exercise. You can do some things to start to feel better and feel better about yourself. If it's just dress nicer, look nicer, be more presentable in general, speak with more confidence. Like even this is not sounding as confident as I'd like. But if I had done this podcast like last year, I would have been even more squeaky sounding and less confident. Just doing this gives you some kind of, it's like exercising, but you're really like scraping the crust off of your brain, like scraping the rust off. That's what it is. It's like you got to scrape all the rust off. And then once you scrape the rust off, you can install a little new metal and polish it, and so you got some work to do. It's not going to be overnight. And the level of self-awareness is delayed and it's not perfect. Like you're not like 100% self-aware in the moment necessarily, but you're building on yourself and seeing how you can improve. And then suddenly, I am different. I'm becoming something more. I'm becoming something. So let's talk about patterns. So every day, most of us have a similar routine or habit, the order of things we do. We brush our teeth, make our bed, whatever, coffee, stare at your phone and scroll. Like we all have these routines, right? So if you start to become self-aware of your own patterns, you can insert new things into your routine, into your pattern. If you don't make your bed, you can add that. It's not about making your bed, or it's not about taking out the garbage, or whatever the thing is that you need to add to your routine. It's about the fact that you get that sense of accomplishment from doing something, and it starts to stack. It adds more and more confidence. So next time you show up on camera, you're like, yeah, I did this stuff too. Like I rocked out. I did my exercise. I took out the garbage. I made the bed. I did whatever it is. Oh, I already had my coffee. I'm feeling good. But like you took your shower, you did all your stuff, you get it all done and you feel better about yourself. You get that momentum going. That's what it's all about for me as far as like getting unstuck. It's like you have to do like the smallest freaking thing. You got to do the smallest, tiniest thing. And it takes a minute. It takes a while. If you made it this far, please leave a comment. Let me know if you've ever done a video diary or if you are interested in doing one, because a lot of stuff will come up. Like excuses will come up. I don't know if I talked about excuses enough, but like they're just going to come up. Like I meant to talk about this in the limiting belief thing, but like excuses will just come up, and some of them are technically good, but I'm about to go out of town for a few days. So it's like, I'm not going to be able to post, but look at what I'm doing right now. Like right now, I'm literally making the post to post while I'm out of town. So the excuse can actually be the motivation for why you need to do something instead of why you can't do. Like you can reframe the way that you think about things to be the ideal way that you think about things. I know I'm talking about all these like little nitpicky self-help things, but there's actually an easy way to start shifting to do all of this. Okay, if you're still stuck and you're feeling super overwhelmed, this is for you. So keep listening. I mentioned before how important having a why is, and I'll have an exercise for how to find your why. And if you're rolling your eyes, I get it, but it definitely helps to have one. So I just want to talk briefly about overwhelm. Overwhelm happens when you have too many options, like you have too many decisions to make. And then a lot of times with modern society, you have all of these decisions that you could potentially make, like what outfit to wear, what website to go to, what YouTube video to watch, even on a like stupid level. Like you're thinking about too many things. And if you're actually being creative and you're actually making something, then you have all the decisions about that business or that platform or that art, like what way to execute. And finding a way to minimize those decisions is the key to getting rid of overwhelm. Like I do this a lot on my songwriting channel, Get Songs Done. I have a framework for getting songs done. It's just a basic framework, and it helps me minimize my decision-making process. Like I still sometimes get overwhelmed over there, but 9 times out of 10, like I know what I need to do next because I have a framework. I have a decision tree, if you will, in my mind. Like, what do I do if I get stuck here? I already have a plan for if I get stuck a certain way. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to shift to? What am I going to shift my attention to? All of that is built in. If you don't have any kind of plan or system for how you can get out of the spot that you're in, or the task that you're working on, and if you get stuck in it, then you're going to lose all of your momentum. But if instead you get stuck on a task and you know what type of task you can switch to that's maybe adjacent or similar or that can reinforce that original task, then you're going to be miles ahead of people that just fall off and just quit. You don't want to be a quitter. So don't put yourself in situations where you have to make even more decisions. Like, if you finally chose the platform that you're going to use for your online business, which for me is System.io, but if you chose it, like stop looking at other stuff. Stop looking at the Kajabis and the whatevers. Whatever you pick, like just pick it, go with it, build it out, make it work. If you want to change it later, you can change it later, of course, but stop adding more decisions to your tree that you don't need to make, because there's always going to be something new. There's going to be a new AI this, a new video this, a new online business this. There's always going to be new stuff. And if you're always looking, then you're causing constant overwhelm because you feel like you need to know what's the newest thing or the best thing or the whatever thing. And it's, maybe spend some time, figure it out. But then once you've got something chosen, stop looking at those types of things and move on to the next part of your business, the next part of your creative process, the next part of the thing, because you got a lot of work to do. You got stuff you want to make. Like, you're not listening to this podcast or whatever this is. You're not listening to this series if you're not wanting to make something. So if it's just posting content, getting out of your own shell, getting out of your own head, or if it's actually making music or art or videos, then you have to focus. You have to make the main thing the main thing. You have to start thinking about that. Like, well, how do I want to spend my day? Do I want to wake up and record videos? Do I want to wake up and make music? Do I want to wake up and write? What's the thing that gets you going? If you're going to pursue a creative lifestyle, which is completely acceptable in 2025 or whatever it is. We've had YouTubers forever, and now we have all these influencers online, and it's completely understandable and acceptable, and people know that it's a real business model. How are you going to make it work for you? And what is the ideal way to do it? Do you want to be worried about all these like nitpicky code things? Do you want to be worried about designing things? Where are you pushing too far? Where are you going too far in your own limitation? Because we have to wear all the hats when we first start. We really do. It's overwhelming. I've gotten this far, but I just started because I've been overwhelmed for 20 years. I'm like, how do I make my album sound good? That's a question I've asked for 25 years. How do I make my first album sound good? That's all I've been wanting to know. There's so much to it. It's not just making a good song. It's making a good song, having a good performance, recording it with high quality, using a good microphone, using good plugins. So as far as like the musical artist sides of things, like there's so much just to the music, so many jobs, so many hats. And then you have the business side of things, and then you have your creative artistic side of things. So you have to figure out what parts of that do you really want to do every day and figure that out for yourself. And if you have to do stuff that you don't want to do, if you know your why, it will be easier to do those things. So we're going to dive into how to discover your why. Okay. All right. This is going to be deep. So if you're not ready for deep, if you're not ready to self-introspect, then just go on to the next episode or unsubscribe. So you start with a why. Like, why do I want to make music? Why do I want to make content? And your first thought might be to make money. Unfortunately, having money be your why, it works for some people, but money typically is a product of the product. Money is a result that you get from doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, or from helping other people do the thing that they want to do. Money is the effect. It's not the cause. It's the effect. It's not the what, the why, the thing that you should really be asking. And so why do you want to create that art? Why do you want to put out videos? Start asking that. And you start thinking about who are the people you want to help? What is it you need to share? What is your message? Those kinds of things. And then always go and ask why again on top of those things that come up. So if you have messages come out, like, why do I want to share these messages? Go deeper. Figure out what the real why is, because sometimes your messages are potentially molded by society or molded by other people. So you really need to dive in a few layers. So you're going to be asking yourself why, and then why again, and why again, based on all of those answers that come up. Just keep asking why. And sometimes you'll ask why. You won't be able to figure it out. And then it will come to you later. So just do it on a number of things. But whatever the thing is that you want to do, ask yourself why. An answer will come to you. And then ask, why is that thing a thing? Like, why do I want that thing? And then another answer will come to you. And why do I want that thing? And he starts to get really deep. Some weird stuff will come to your mind. You might start crying. This happened to me before. It can get very deep very fast. So do this when you have some time, a few minutes to yourself alone, and go deep. Ask yourself the whys and the why of your why and the why of your why. And yeah, let me know how that goes. I'm curious. Just, is this something you've done before? And if it hasn't, maybe try it. Let me know how it goes. Just leave a comment below. And in the next episode, we're going to address the cheat code for getting unstuck. And I'm really excited about this one because this is the methodology that I've used to get unstuck and start doing stuff, even though I was stuck for over 20 years. We'll get into that. And thanks again for being here and keep listening. Okay, this is about really getting stuff done and like why you can't seem to get stuff done and like how do you find time to get stuff done when there's so much stuff? Do you feel just life is just piling stuff on you? You got more bills to pay. You got more errands to run. You got more things to do, just more responsibilities in life. Because that's something I've discovered as I get older and older. It just feels like there's just more stuff, like more stuff. It's just life is just getting, this is why I think you guys don't want to get out of bed. You got too much stuff you got to do and you're just so overwhelmed. You just shut down. So we talked about overwhelm a little bit, but we'll get to it some more. So make sure you're subscribed. The wonderful topic of time management. Look, I've tried everything like the stupid Pomodoro timers, the calendar, the trying to schedule stuff. Like it just doesn't do anything for me. I'm just not the kind of person that's, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to do from this time to this time, I'm going to do this. And then if I work in the day, then like inevitably something happens. I get a text message, I get an email, I get distracted by YouTube, I get a call from the wife, something happens and I'm thrown off. Like there's a fact, a statistic out there somewhere, but I'm pretty sure as soon as you get a notification or you get interrupted when you're doing something, doing deep work, like really working, then you like at least 20 minutes to get back to the same state and degree of work that you were in. So if this just keeps happening all day, then for me, the only way around this is either become either a night person or a morning person. So if you're a night person, then be like, hey, honey, or hey, whoever, like I'm going to be in my room working on my stuff all night from this time on. So hopefully we had a good day up till then. Or if you're a morning person, which I recommend because something magical happens in the morning. It's really weird. Like when you see the sun come, like when the sun comes up, like that is just a beautiful moment. And it's just, it does something to you. It's this like magical color outside. And it just does something to where you're like, okay, I'm going to do stuff before anybody else is awake. Like I'm just going to rock out. Like I'm just going to do stuff and I'm not going to be interrupted. Like nobody's going to mess with me because there's nobody's up. Nobody's going to bother you. And so I really like this method. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm up early. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning. And it's just about getting up and like just doing stuff, like working on whatever the project is that you're working on. And I'm sure like there's 20 excuses for why you can't do it. Get your 8 hours of sleep if you need to. But like for right now, like I'm not doing 8 hours of sleep. I'm not doing it. I don't have time to do it. You know what I mean? And I get so much reward and joy out of just knowing that I got stuff done. And then I still have time to do my regular whatever during the day. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. And it's a great feeling. And you feel better. You feel better. You have a reason to get up and just knowing that you didn't really have to do anything else to carve that time out except just get the F out of bed, like just get out of bed. And so if you're really stuck and you're really in the bed rot zone, just watch the other video on bed rot or whatever it is on getting motivated. Because once you do this a couple of days in a row, like it's just like hard to not do it. Like it's just, oh, my alarm went off. Of course, I need to get up. Like it's not even, oh, my alarm. Like it might be that at first. Like, oh, my alarm's going, oh, have you turned it off? But I still struggle with this, right? I used to be like that. oh, let me turn it off again. And then you sleep in a couple more hours. Then you beat yourself up all day because you didn't get up. But when you do it, something happens, man. Like, you just feel better. You're like, yeah. And it just adds to that confidence. It adds to that momentum. It adds to everything. And let me know in the comments below if you're a morning person or a night person. And if you've been doing this habit or if it's completely foreign to you, let me know. We're going to talk about the cheat code for all of this, how to bypass all of it. If you can't wait, that's also in the book, Something Is Not Wrong With You. So until then, if any of this has helped you at all, or you think it could help someone else, go ahead and send it to that person. Like, literally send it to them, because that's how podcasts are recommended. They're recommended 1-to-1. And if you know somebody has just so much potential, like creative potential, but they're just really super stuck, and you think that this might help them, then go ahead and send them the episode that you think will help them the most. Oh, and also, I guess if you're on YouTube, just watch another video up here. There should be like another recommended thing. And if you're listening on the podcast player, it should play the next episode automatically.